Hey guys, just made some sea moss gel. Here it is, still piping hot. And we have here some Chrondus Crispus. No, not this. This isn't Chrondus Crispus. Yes, this is sea moss. It's not Chrondus Crispus. This is Chrondus Crispus. And I have the flakes here. Unfortunately, I don't have the full uncut Chrondus Crispus sea moss. Show you a picture of it though. But yeah, there's a difference. This is not Chrondus Crispus. Stop saying that. Yeah, this is Gracilaria. This is the tropical Caribbean sea moss. It grows in the tropical regions of the world, all over the world. It's a very commonly known sea moss because people in the Caribbean are very health centered. And this is what's available to you in the Caribbean. It's also available to you online, on Amazon, on eBay, on multiple websites. But this is Gracilaria. So stop calling it Chrondus Crispus. Alright? Alright, so different kind of sea mosses in the world. And we got two here. Alright. So I got this here from Star West Botanicals. And I think the stuff is really good. The only thing I don't like about it is it's in flake form. And also it's very hard to clean because it's in flake form. So I guess, you could kind of soak it and pour off the sediments. Now Chrondus Crispus has a completely different formation, right? If you look in the picture, you can see like it has these big leaves and they kind of furl and curl up. And then those leaves, you're gonna have sediment, you're gonna have all kinds of dirt and crustaceans living in there. So yeah, next time I get this, I'm gonna get it from somewhere else. I just found a link. I just found a website. I'll leave a link down below to Star Wars Botanicals and this other website that I found that they sell the full leaf Chrondus Crispus. Okay, so what's the difference? Well, let's start with how it is similar. Both of these are sea mosses. They're both called sea moss. Sea moss is just a generic term that is used. They're also both called Irish moss. So people are also saying, this is Irish moss, this is sea moss. No, they're both Irish moss, they're both sea moss. Stop it. Okay? These are just generic terms. If you want to be specific, you got to use the scientific term. Gracilaria, Chrondus Crispus. They are both gelatinous red algae. They both grow in the sea. They're both very high in phytonutrients. Both very high in minerals. They're both high in calcium. They're both very good for your bones, your joints, your ligaments, your skin, and your hair. And they both provide energy. They both energize your body, and they both have amazing healing properties for your bones, your body. They help to fight off illnesses. They boost your immune system. They speed up the healing process. They both strengthen the body. How are they different? The Gracilaria is tropical, grows in tropical waters. The Chrondus Crispus grows in the temperate regions, grows in the cold waters. Okay? A lot of you already know the Gracilaria. A lot of you already use the Gracilaria. The Chrondus Crispus seems to be a bit harder to find, and I think it's more expensive, much harder to clean, but its healing properties are just out of this world. This sea moss is amazing. I find that I like it a lot better. Yeah, it might be hard to prepare it because, I wasn't successful in just putting this in my blender and blending it. It works, you get a gel, but I found that it comes out way too thick and it doesn't last. It spoils in like a week. That may be because I was using too much when I did try to blend it, and the gel comes out just really thick and just yucky, just really dark, and I didn't like it. Whereas the Gracilaria, you can soak it, throw it in the blender, and it's fine. This sea moss it just, when you have it, it makes you feel happy. It puts you on a natural high. I don't know why. I find that the best way that works for me is to heat it up, to boil it in some water, and to strain the liquid, and to basically just use that extract, and you get this kind of glassy gel, which actually doesn't look very glassy. So I probably didn't strain it as well as I usually like to this time, but in any case, it's still really good. I still use it the same way that I use my other sea moss. Okay, so again, they're both called sea moss, they're both called Irish moss, and that is probably because of the Irish who use this, which would be found in Ireland. You wouldn't find this in the Caribbean or in the tropical waters. It just grows in the temperate regions. This here grows in the tropics. I'm not sure if this grows it's only in the tropics. I think you might also find it in the temperate regions. I was able to find this in China, and not even in the south part, in Qingdao, Shandong province, which is, it's not far north, but it's kind of like, you know, that's kind of the temperate region. Different kinds of sea moss. They're both amazing. I find this one to be out of this world. So again, I was saying, most likely because of the Jamaican Irish connection. Like when the Irish came in, they were probably looking for this, but they couldn't find it. But they probably found a similar red gelatinous sea algae, and figured that they could process it similarly, and I think that's why people in the Caribbean call it Irish moss, and as people in the Caribbean also boil this, because you kind of need to boil this. People in the Caribbean generally boil this to soften it up, and then they blend it also to get everything. I think that's just because generally the sea moss you find, I'm not sure, you know, this is my conjecture, and but there is a Jamaican Irish connection. I'll leave a link down below to a YouTube video talking about the Jamaican Irish connection, and how even the Irish accent seems to have some influence on the Jamaican accent. So that might have influenced the way that they make it. Maybe that's the reason why they boil it, or maybe it's because generally the sea moss that you have in Jamaica is that thick sea moss. That's not wild crafted, unless you have the wild crafted stuff. With the wild crafted stuff, you don't really need to boil it. Okay, so that's my take on sea moss. I think it was because of the Irish were using it, and to this day, people in Jamaica call this Irish moss. They call this one Irish moss. I think that's just to pay homage and respect to the Irish who they learned it from. But anyway, I made my sea moss here. I'm really happy with it. I made a good amount. This will last me for a while. I'll be using this over the next couple weeks. So it's a process to make it. You gotta boil it, and strain it. I kind of boiled it down 3 times and strained it. You wanna see how I did it? Come home. All right, let's make our sea moss gel now. Over here, some sea moss flakes, Chrondus Crispus flakes. We got some Star West Botanicals. And I'll do 40 grams. Chrondus Crispus flakes. All right, to make our sea moss gel, we will need sea moss, our water. Got some distilled water here. A strainer. Another strainer. You need a pot to boil it in. And a jar to store it in. And you keep it in the fridge. I have to soak in it for like 5 minutes. It's already hydrated. Now we can try to wash it. It's very difficult to wash it. It's like you never get everything out of it. All right, so I thought my phone was recording, but it wasn't. So we missed the whole cleaning process and the whole first extraction process. Luckily, I did the extraction process 3 times, so we can just basically walk you through it. So it doesn't require much soaking because you're gonna boil it anyway. You know, pour some water over it and just keep pouring off the dirty water until you get it as clean as you possibly can. It is very tedious. So get some water boiling. When the water's boiling, put your sea moss in and continue heating on a low flame, and keep stirring it to make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom and burn. So make sure you put in enough water so that your sea moss has room to, you know, float, and so you can stir it up. So you don't want it to be thick right away. It can start to thicken up quickly. I usually like it thicker. At least this will pour in quicker. The more water you use, the thinner it'll be. The less water you use, the thicker it'll be. It'll be easier to pour and strain with more water if it's less thick. So I'm double straining it here. It's also optional. 1 strainer is okay, but I like to use 2 strainers because I'm used to having 1 bigger strainer with bigger holes, and then the second strainer that's much finer to catch the rest of the sediments that might still be in there. Just gonna add a few drops of this stingless bee honey just to make this a much more powerful medicine. Obviously, that's optional. Just want to add it while it's still hot so it can kind of mix in. I've actually got one more secret ingredient that I'm going to add to this gel. I got in this capsule here, but you're gonna have to comment down below if you want to know what it is, or reach out to me if you know me personally. It's a secret. Obviously, this is optional because it's a secret. I can boil this again and keep doing this until my jar is full. Usually I stop at this point. My jar's almost full. I think I'm gonna do this one last time, just so that my honey and my secret ingredient could incorporate better with the heat. It's still hot, but yeah, you know, things will mix in better when they're hotter. We still have more of this yucky stuff. We can boil it down again and get more gel. because sea moss is the gift that keeps on giving, you know. You're gonna keep this in the fridge, just like regular sea moss. It should keep about 2 weeks. So go ahead and use it before it goes bad. Stuff is really good. It's still hot now, so I'm not gonna put it in the fridge yet. I'm gonna leave it on the counter to cool off. You probably wanna wipe down the sides of your jar. So I'll let it sit on the counter for a few hours till it cools off. Once it's cooled, we can put it in the fridge. This gel here repairs bones, joints, ligaments, even synovial fluid. This gel right here is magic.